If I do end up saying anything tonight, when I end up saying something tonight, my apologies in advance. It's my first retirement. You'll hear three things from me tonight. One, an exhaustive list of thank yous. A bit about this 30-year career, and some unsolicited advice for the future. Let's see how this goes. I want to thank everyone for coming. This really is overwhelming. Not prepared for any of this, and I'm truly speechless. I do have a list of people that I want to thank, starting with my parents. I literally would not be here without you. You've encouraged the love of reading and music and good food and good friends, the importance of family. You've modeled what true love looks like. Almost 60 years of marriage. You put me through school when we didn't have the money. You've been my cheering section my entire life. I know how proud you are, and I want you to know how thankful I am forever. I want to thank my father-in-law, Alf Johns, and my late mother-in-law. I wish she were here tonight too. I want to thank you for your fatherly and educational insight over the last 38 years. I've known you that long. Your expertise when I was trying to get a job and interviews, your advice on pedagogy and leadership. You've always listened patiently, offered advice without ever telling me what to do. You even sparked my interest in Scotch when we shared a bottle of the Macallan 10. I felt like Barney on The Simpsons. Well, where have you been all my life? You definitely created a monster. I have an entire wall. I hope you're not out of advice. I may have some questions about this retirement thing. Thanks, Dad. I want to thank my wife, Kristen. No one knows me better than you, and you're still here. You must really love me.
I do.
I want to thank you for your honesty and your objectivity. You see things that I don't. You're surrounded by teachers, but you've never been one. But you listen patiently if I've had a day. You offer advice, and even if I don't always take it, I'm so appreciative. I love your optimism. 60 semesters later, and you still have faith that I won't leave all my marking or speech writing till the last minute. It always gets done, but I know it drives you crazy. At least I didn't write a speech on a napkin this time. Thank you so much for putting this party together. I know what a huge undertaking it is, and I appreciate it. I'm also very glad you're all here to enjoy this with me. I hope you're now able to relax instead of saying, it's due tomorrow. How are you going to get that done? Or, you said what? No, really? Oh, Glenn. Or a tolerant woman. Thank you to my boys. Connor, Alexander. Thank you to my daughter-in-law. Not only did you have to be in the same high school that I was teaching at, you were also in my classes. That couldn't have been easy. I hope I didn't make it weird. I tried, I really did. I am extremely proud of all of you. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for helping Mom with the party. Connor, Alex, and Morgan bought me an array of single malt scotches as a retirement gift. For those of you who know anything about Scotch, this is a windfall. The Glenallachie 10 cask strength, Glenallachie 15, Glenallachie 18, the Glendronach 18, Glenn Roth, 18, and the legendary Macallan, 18 sherry cask. Retirement sounds fun. I am looking forward to enjoying those with you. Thank you for tonight. Alex, a special thank you to you for reaching out to my former students and to putting together an amazing video. I'm looking forward to watching the whole thing. I know you had to edit it down for time, and that's got a rewatch written all over it. I want to thank my students. Since 1994, I've loved being in a classroom, surrounded by kids who didn't always want to be there, but we got through it. I had fun. If I'm not having fun, you are not having fun. And that's just the way I've been teaching. I want to thank my students for keeping me young, for teaching me trends, teaching me their language, their values. Still not sure what the hell skibbity-doo-dah or Riz or Ohio or whatever the hell you kids are talking about these days means. If you're old, don't go look that up. A huge thank you to my colleagues, many of whom are here tonight. The lunchroom with Cause and the boys, my introduction to what goes on at Korah. Staff cafeteria with Bobby, Marianne, and Heidi. Conversations with Julie. And she threw me under the bus and said that I'm the one that went knocking on her door. That is not how that went down. I am walking by in the hall and I get, hey, come on in. Close the door. That's it. Golfing and darts, Scotch tastings that I've attended and also run. Catan, camp, PD day lunches with Lane, Grondin, Elliot, Lambert, Manning, DeLuca, Trapp. Teaching English with Linda and Ruth. The yins to my yang. It was a blast. IB trips with Lori. Legendary hunting and fishing trips with Lane to his camp on Mount Lake. My wife still calls these the Brokeback Mount Lake trip. It's still not funny. I will never borrow your sweater. Nightly walks with DeLuca. The endless laughs over the years and the multiple departments that I've been in, at the Dunn and at Korah in English, in music, most recently math. I will miss all of this more than you know. I want to thank you, Deneen, for doing this for me tonight. You are still Superwoman. But if this is what retirement looks like, because I know how friggin' busy you've been, I don't want to do it. Part 2, a little bit about my career and some more thank yous. There are some very special people that have attended tonight, and I really want to thank them. I knew in grade 8 that I wanted to be a teacher. For those of you who remember Ronnie Rain, he was my grade 8 teacher. Honest, fair, tough, great sense of humor. A way with kids that was just magic. He could be angry with you, he could be firm, but at the same time, you still knew there was a human there. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever, to see him use humor in the classroom and get the respect of the students. And not just one of them, all of them. I wanted that. I thought that would be the coolest thing ever. I wanted to inspire kids like he did me. It's been very cool in the last 2-3 years. I've taught both of his grandkids at Korah. There are 3 people outside of my family and friends and colleagues who were instrumental in my career, and I want to personally thank them for their guidance, their foresight, and their faith in my abilities. 2 of them are here tonight. When I first started teaching at the Dunn, there was a large core group of English teachers, most of them around the same age, which meant that they would all be retiring at the same time. And within 3 or 4 years of my arrival at the Dunn, Mike Chiapetta, John Stortini, Vicky Archuk, Judy Carmichael, Bob Nesbitt, Janet Roger Anderson, Rick Partridge, Sandra Wolfbrand, and Deb Wilson all retired. I was young. I had that on my side. There wasn't a whole lot else to choose from. It was me or nothing, but I still felt like the missing link. Mike Chiapetta, John Stortini, and Bob Nesbitt had the foresight to pass on the courses that they had become known for, the ones that they were most passionate about, before they retired. And I am so fortunate to have had their guidance and their mentorship. I want to personally thank each of them. Mike, I had you as a teacher in OAC English and Writer's Craft. You were the department head when I made my way back to the school. And I want to talk about the logic and rhetoric class. Some of you have heard former students mention it. The idea of critical thinking, you've heard the TOK course. These all have very similar features. Full of syllogisms, fallacies, rhetoric, ideological doublespeak argument. I had never taken the class. I couldn't pronounce half the words. And I was told by Mike that there is no way either Bob or John is going to do this course. Are you interested in teaching this? He's like, you son of a bitch. No, I didn't say that. For you old people, I'm literally not calling him an SOB. It's a reference to a meme from a hilarious cartoon called Rick and Morty. You should watch it, it's funny. It's from the episode One Crew Over the Cuckoo's Morty. You saw something in me that I definitely did not see in myself. The learning curve was huge, but it was worth it. It changed the way that I think. It allowed me to change how students think. I would hear back from students all the time, sometimes even years after high school, and they would tell me about the impact that this course had on them. I brought many of those critical thinking skills to the Theory of Knowledge course in the IB program at Korah, which I've taught for 20 years, and it continues to have the same impact on students. It's had the same effect on me. Critical thinking, empathy, perspective. Mike also taught me in Writer's Craft and then gifted me the opportunity to teach that course as well. It reinforced my love and appreciation for good writing, a respect for purpose and craftsmanship, and the need for freedom in art. Yeah, don't get me started on censorship, we'll be here all night. Mike, for all that you've done as a teacher, a mentor, and a colleague, my sincerest thanks. John Stortini is not here tonight, but I do want to give a shout out to him. John asked me to teach the lit class. I was scared out of my mind. I got 68 in OAC English. That's true. I can tell you that now. 68. I was charming though. When John asked me to teach the lit class, he told me what was on it. In one semester, in one class, students had to take King Lear, A Man for All Seasons, Gulliver's Travels, Crime and Punishment, Heart of Darkness, the poetry of T.S. Eliot, Old Man and the Sea, and a Canadian novel of their choice. That's 4 classes nowadays. And we did that in a semester. John's notes on Heart of Darkness, which I had not read, came along with the course, and it opened up a world of literary analysis to me that no other course, no other text had ever done before. To this day, it is that book and John's notes that challenged me to learn history, psychology, sociology, philosophy, even film, with the layered connections to Apocalypse Now. And more importantly, Heart of Darkness has allowed me to have meaningful conversations with students, not just about the book. It's never about the book. It's the conversations that you get to have with kids that make the book relevant. If literature isn't relevant, why are we reading it? And the lessons in that book are historical. We live and relive them all the time, and it's a conversation. And I love having that conversation with kids and asking them those questions. It's made my career. I am so thankful for John for introducing me to that text. I had heard kids in high school when I was in high school that were taking it, hated it. It really was about a dude on a boat going up some river to go see some other dude on a boat. It was like, no, thank you. I'm grateful to John for sharing his knowledge and passion for this text and for having faith in me to do the same. Bob Nisbet. Bob was an interesting cat. He was the glue between the other two. He was the chameleon. Good luck finding Bob in high school. Good luck finding Bob so you could invite him to a retirement party. Bob taught the Writer's Craft course. He offered me his notes, as Mike did. Bob also taught the Lit course. He offered me his notes as well as John, but there was no way in hell he was teaching logic and rhetoric. What he did do, and what he could see happening, when Mike gave up the headship about 2 or 3 years into me being at the Dunn, Bob took over the headship and made sure that I taught every single English course that was offered so that I would have the necessary experience to one day become a department head. I had no idea it would be so soon. Bob gave up the headship a year or two later so that I could be at the helm while he was still teaching, so he could offer his mentorship from within. What a selfless act. In my first 5 years, I had taught every course, inherited almost 100 years worth of teaching experience in logic, in lit, creative writing, and now running a department of 12 English teachers with over 40 sections of English. I have thrived in that headship role for 25 years, and I have loved every minute of it. Could we please clap? I know that as teachers, we don't always recognize the impact that we have, and I know we also appreciate hearing it when it does come back our way. But those 3 gentlemen have made my career by challenging me to think and to be exactly what they were for me in the classroom. I want to tell you a little bit about my career, but I also don't want to talk forever. Nobody's going to the bar. What is wrong with you? I do want to share my philosophy of education, and I do want to make sure that you don't assume that everything I do in a classroom is a burn. I do like kids. I really do. It's funny, one of the first things you get asked at Teachers College is, what is your philosophy of education? I don't know. Aren't you supposed to tell me? How would I know that if I haven't taught? What was really interesting right away and what worked in practice and what has stuck with me forever, I've always approached it this way, was a mutual respect for kids. Don't expect them to do anything for you to be engaged, to be willing, to be motivated if you're not showing them the same thing. I enjoyed being in that classroom every single day. I'm honest, maybe to a fault. I'm transparent, and I think humor is the one thing that can put most people at ease. There are kids that you can push, there are kids that you can suggest things to, and that comes with experience. I feel like I got it right. I did not get it right at the beginning. I am going to tell you a story, and this one's okay. Teachers College. I did all my practice teaching in tins. I learned to speak franglais. surprisingly didn't end up smoking. I had an associate teacher with a sense of humor. I did get to teach an OAC class. I was teaching there, but I also had a grade 10 general class with just some of the world's finest. He was sitting at the back of the room with his arms folded, licking his lips, waiting to see what I was going to do. So I thought I would, just be myself. I worked really hard at Teachers College, I really did. There was a methods class, there was a book that was like this thick on how to manage a classroom. I thought, wow. Okay, so I read it and then I got a chance to put this in practice. The first lesson was on proximity. So if you have a kid who is a gem and is driving you crazy, you don't have to kick him out. You just kind of wander over to him and just get in his personal space. You stand there, you continue to teach the lessons, don't look at him. You just kind of talk around him and you're in his space. So of course there's this grade 10 general class, and of course I've got this gem and he's doing it, he's doing the thing. And I'm like, the book says I just have to go and stand close to this guy. All right, let's give that a shot. I got into his personal space. He didn't like it. He did not like that. Poppy earmuffs. I got right in there, I put my hand on the desk and kind of tapping the desk, and the kid is not okay with this. He looks up at me and for the whole class's benefit says this really loud. Get away from me, you fucking homo. Do you want to touch me or something? I'm like, okay, that was not in the book. Think. Okay, we're good. Get away from me. Do you want to touch me or something? Was that an invitation? No. Done. Sarcasm was born, so was classroom management. Didn't need to use the book anymore. I found my niche, and that was that. Next semester, different class. I really did not want to be the authoritarian, the person who wore two masks. The guy who's the nicest guy in the world on the street, and the guy you don't want to meet in a dark alley in your classroom, who was kicking kids out and yelling. I couldn't do that. I don't want to be two people. You get what you get. This is me. So, similar situation. I had another kid driving me absolutely manners. So I figured if I just ask questions, if I don't tell them what to do, if I don't yell at them, I'm not going to get in trouble for asking a question, right? So I asked a kid one day, I said, are you deaf or stupid? He said, you just called me stupid. I said, I did not. Pretty sure I just asked you, and you just confirmed two things for me. What I have learned is that kids are resilient. Kids need an opportunity to mess up. If I am going to offer any advice for what's to come, I'm disappointed that those opportunities for a kid to mess up and try again don't exist. There are a number of people and things that need to stay in their lane. At the beginning of my career, there was no question that there was faith in the person at the helm that a teacher's classroom was a place of mutual respect, at least it was for me. But lately, and this is one of the things that's beyond my control, when you are trying to help a student recover from a mistake because they've been allowed to make it, it's really hard to watch someone or something interfere with that process. As a teacher, I'm no longer in control, and I still kind of feel like I should be. So if they have cheated on an assignment, I'm not going to punish you so that you fail the course. This is a learning opportunity for you. Go ahead, fall down, take the 0 on that. There needs to be a consequence for that action. Okay, yeah, we messed this up. What are you going to do next time? Let's get this right next time. But if it's a continual series of threats that you shouldn't do this and this isn't going to work, and then they get away with it anyway because a parent says, not my kid. Or I don't want to say lie, but when it's clear that the parent has no faith in what a teacher can do for a kid, even though that's kind of what I'm getting paid to do. I really do think kids are resilient. I do think they need opportunities to fail. Parents need to let them. Schools need to let them. Society needs to let them. Otherwise, I'd end up living in a van down by the river. I'll leave you with this. This has been a career, it's been my life, it's been one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done. And I am so happy to have had the opportunity to do it. There will be a lot of questions tonight, mostly about what the hell's up with the stewardess thing. I've also been asked, oh, you're retiring, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Get away from me. I haven't figured that out. I have actually. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I have lots of plans. I want to travel. I want to supply teach. Yes, really. I want to come back into the classroom and be around kids. It's been my whole life, and I love it, or I wouldn't do it. Hey, sir, can I go to the bathroom and vape? Yeah, fucking hey, go ahead. Take your buddy. There are many things in music that I would like to continue to learn. There are so many songs, so many things I want to read that the time has just not been there. I'm probably delusional thinking that this is actually going to exist in retirement and that I'll be able to have time to do this, but I'll definitely have more time than I do when I'm marketing. I want to play more darts. I want to get better at golf. I might even take a lesson. I want to learn a language. Probably Spanish. But I want to learn the swear words first. Thank you so much for coming and making this such an amazing evening. It's been a great career, and I will miss all of you. Thank you so much.